Here we go. Okay, guys, welcome back to Let's Get Freaky podcast. I am super excited for our guest tonight. We welcome Chris Reinhardt to the show. How are you, brother? Thank you very much for being here, man.
I'm great. I'm great, Tommy. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to talking some Sasquatch and talking
Let's
some
go.
weird stuff, and hopefully everybody enjoys it.
One of my favorite topics is the Bigfoot. I love it, man. I can't get enough. So I'm very excited to hear your experiences, your thoughts, and get into the freaky stuff. Before we do that, can you tell the listeners? I'm sure people that listen to Let's Get Freaky know about you and your shows. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, and where people can find you and your show?
All right. So I started my journey about 10 years ago. I was introduced to YouTube. I had my son-in-law, my stepson had to move in because of COVID, and they were living with us, and we started streaming, and we got YouTube, and I was always a big fan of, the Godzilla movies as I grew up, and I was actually petrified of Godzilla. I always thought he was going to stomp through my town. I would watch him on Sunday afternoons after Abbott and Costello, and I don't know. I'm old, everybody, so we'll put that right now. So if you guys don't know who Abbott and Costello is, Google it. And they were comedians back when I was a kid. And so I put in Bigfoot in the YouTube. Once I was introduced, and this whole world just opened up to me. I didn't even know that there was actually others out there other than you saw on TV. Like, you saw the Meldrums and you saw the like Doug Hychek on Monster. You saw them all the time and in search of. And I thought those are the only people that were out there looking for Sasquatch. But when I got on YouTube and I started seeing folks like, you and myself are out there in the forest looking for Sasquatch, I didn't even know you could do that. I really didn't. I really didn't know you could do that. So, long story short, I started going out. I live in Northwest Connecticut. I've been here my whole life in this town. I mean, I've traveled a little bit, but I've always come back. I've never gone for long periods of time. So about been here about 55 years. And so I know the area, and I knew a couple areas where I wanted to try. And lo and behold, I started going out, and I started following, a couple folks on YouTube, and started seeing what they were doing, how they found them, what to look for. And so we started doing the same things that they were doing. I was looking at these tree structures and looking for trails, off trails. You got a trail, you got a game trail, then you have a Sasquatch trail. There's three trails. And if you learn how to find the trails, you're pretty good at finding a Sasquatch or where they are if you're in the right area. So we got pretty good at it. We started having interactions. We got our first knocks, and then I decided to start trading with them, and I traded with them for 6 years. Um, so that led to a whole bunch of stuff, and I mean, I'm getting ahead of us ourselves, but that's basically how I got started. The YouTube thing got me kicked into it, and it's been full steam ever since. And I've been doing it now. I think what's it? I want to say 11 years now. This will be my 11th year in the
Wow.
investigation.
Awesome, man. So you was kind of always into the Bigfoot stuff, but you just didn't realize how big and how the topic is actually is huge. The topic really, as
Yeah.
you say, there's so many people out there that are interested and listening to shows like yours, and yeah, there's a lot of interest in the Bigfoot topic, that's for sure. And I feel like it's growing as well. Even here in the UK, and Bigfoot's everywhere, so it's so interesting, man.
I think it's the biggest right now than it's ever been. I mean, it's pretty huge, and there's a lot of people out there, doing their thing, searching, and then and then there's a lot of folks out there that aren't doing the right thing. I mean, I can't. This is just all my opinion tonight, everybody and Tommy. I can only tell you what I've experienced. I can only tell you what I think. I am not the Bigfoot guru. I tell this to everybody I do an interview with. I do not know. I can only give you what's happened to me. I cannot tell you that's written in stone. It happens everywhere.
Hmm.
There's a lot of people that will tell you that they know what's going on out there. And if anybody tells you that they're a Bigfoot guru, then I wouldn't listen to them because there is no gurus.
Hmm. Hmm. Like with all aspects of the paranormal, I don't think anyone's got the answers to anything really. We know there's something going on. We know there's a lot more, and all we can really do is share what we've experienced ourselves, and as you say, and put all these pieces together, and we're slowly kind of trying to figure it out. I don't know if we're ever going to get the answers, but it's fun trying.
Right. No, no, I'm with you. And it just it always leads to more questions. You've noticed that, I'm sure.
Hmm.
Every
Oh,
time you think
absolutely.
you got something, And as we go along, when we get towards it, we've actually made a discovery in the Bigfoot world, and it's has to do with frequency, and it'll blow your mind once we get to it.
Oh, interesting, man. Interesting. Because as I said to you before, Bigfoot is something that fascinates me, and my opinion changes probably every day on all topics of high strangeness, but with Bigfoot as well. Like, I'll talk to someone that's just flesh and blood, and they'll convince me that these things are just flesh and blood, and then I'll talk to someone else. They call it the woo side, and these things seem to have abilities that we just don't understand, and then I'm in that camp. So. I'm kind of in the middle. Like, I think there could be a bit of both going on. I don't know, obviously, but my opinion changes every single day. So I'm excited for you to show me your way and for my opinion to change again.
Yeah, well, I'm in your camp. I believe that they come here. I believe that they hunt. I believe they sleep here. They're here. You know, we find signs, we find footprints, we find hairs, we find broken deer skulls and deer legs and all that stuff. And we find scat. What we believe to be, we found DNA. They're here in a physical form, but I just don't think that they're the hide and seek champions of the world. If you're 9 foot tall, right, and you have a size, say, 18 foot, and you weigh 700 pounds, you ain't hiding. I don't care. I mean, you can go into the forest and, there's a lot of leaves and it's dense, but you're going to make noise going through the forest. But the way these things move, it's almost like they're floating and there's just something else to them. And it took me a while because I started off as flesh and blood camp, but as I progressed through what I have experienced, it's beyond that to me, and it's beyond the evidence. My wife has experienced stuff, and she doesn't like it at all. She doesn't want nothing to do with it, but she's experienced a lot of stuff with me, and so that's how it's progressed for me. I started flesh and blood. I thought I could get a picture of these. I thought it can't be that hard, or blah 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 blah, and I couldn't do it. And the what led just kept on letting me down this path to where there's something else that's going on with them, in my opinion.
Hmm. Interesting, man. Okay, so I'd like to go to the start. What you first experienced with the Sasquatch and where it all began for you.
Okay, so when I first started, I started here in Connecticut, Northwest Connecticut, and I found I had a couple places that I wanted to check out, and that were on the map, and had a partner. I had a guy that was going with me, and we decided to, let's go look, let's go check it out. So we had a phone and a notebook. That's what we started off with, and we were going to different spots, and we went actually had our best luck at one of the state forests here. It's called People's State Forest, and we were there one time, and this is when it got real for me because we were finding structures all along. We could find structures, and we were doing certain things, and um, but we never had that interaction. We never had that physical. We never heard them, never seen them, never nothing. So one time he went by himself, and he was at People's Forest, and he called me up when he got home. He says, "Chris, I found these crazy structures in the forest, and it just." You got to see him. You really got to see him. And so I'm like, all right, well, what are you doing tomorrow after work? He says, all right, well, we'll go tomorrow after work. So he came, he picked me up, and we went to this forest and went into the forest and we checked out the structures. And it was pretty cool. They were definitely built. They didn't fall that way. That's what you have to look for with the structures. You got to look if they're manipulated because they can fall like that. They can fall and make an X. They can fall and stack on top of each other. You got to really do your due diligence when you're investigating because you can't claim everything Bigfoot. And when I first started, I believe me, I was guilty of it. I thought everything I seen out there, even a log on the side of a tree. Oh, that was a Bigfoot. I go in the backyard here. Oh, that was Bigfoot did that. Oh, I'm guilty of that. So I'm not a preaching. And believe me, to anybody that's listening, I am not preaching. Believe me, because I am guilty to everything I'm probably going to tell you tonight. So we're at this place, and we hear this dog whimper. And it's like an injured dog. It sounds like a dog that got hit by it. Was like it's like like that. And we both look at each other. I'm like, oh man, maybe a dog got hit, injured in the forest. He's over there. Let's go. Maybe we should go check out and see. He said, yeah, let's go check it out, see if the dog's there. So we go over there. We get to the spot where we believe the whimper's coming from. We get there and there's nothing there. Nothing there, right? So all of a sudden, up to 50 foot to our left, or 50. I'm not. I'm sure the measurements have changed in the last 11 years, 50 feet, but it's the same thing. It'll bring us farther into the forest. So up to the left side, I won't even give the distance now. So we hear this dog whimper noise again. Same thing. So we figured it got scared. We came up on it. It was injured. It got scared, so it went farther in. So we went up there and we got to that spot and nothing there. All right. 5 seconds later, up to our right hand side now, dog whimper noise again. So we go up to that spot this time, and now we're probably about 50 yards in farther than we were. And my buddy Tat is getting dusk has come. Like I said, we only started with a phone and a notebook. He taps me on the shoulder. He goes, Chris, whatever this is, it's leading us into the forest, step by step by step with this noise. He says, there's nothing here. Every time we get to the side, he said, we should just turn around and let's get out of here. So I agree because it's getting dark. So we turn and we start walking back towards the old logging road, and we're walking and we're walking and we're walking, and we get out to the logging road, and then all of a sudden we hear this weird. Look at my hair on my arm is sticking straight up right now. This weird scream. That's probably not even close to what it sounded like, but it was a weird scream, and we both turn around and we look, and all of a sudden you hear dunk. A stone comes flying out at us and lands right in back of me onto the road. And we both look at each other. We're like, oh my God, what is this? What is going on? What was that? What's throwing stones at us? We turn around, we hightail it down the logging road. And while we're going down the road, he goes, oh my God, is that a Sasquatch? These Sasquatch are supposed to do this stuff. They're supposed to, throw rocks and they're grunting at us. And what was leading us into the forest? And it was just all this adrenaline. We got back to the truck and we're talking about it on the way home, and we're like, oh my God. And after that first whatever it was, we knew there was something in the forest. I was hooked. And I've been full steam since that. I've been trying to figure this out for 11 years, and honestly, we haven't really figured much out, but I've seen a lot of stuff. I've experienced a lot of stuff. I've traveled. So, but that was it. That was my ticket into the Sasquatch world, was that first interaction, and that's how it all went down.
Oh man. So from that moment there, that day, was you like fully convinced that these things are real? Was that like the snap moment that was like, okay, these things are real? Because until you've really, I think, till you've really seen one of these things, it's hard to fully know that. Or because I believe in Bigfoot. I've never seen one. I've seen the Patterson Gimlin film, obviously, and I feel like to me that is real. And I do believe these creatures are real. But I mean, for that moment for you, was you fully convinced that these are out there?
Well, now I was convinced there was something out there because we didn't see what did it. We
Mhm.
didn't see, but every characteristic that happened, the stone throw, the grunt, everything but the luring. Nobody's ever heard of that luring before, and except for now the Dogman things come out that I've heard a few people say that they've been lured or they try and get you into the forest, and that with the whimper, that's
Mhm.
what everybody says. You might have had a Dogman experience. I might have because I don't know, but we knew that there was something in the forest, and we were hoping, that it was a Sasquatch. We thought it was a Sasquatch experience because that's what we were looking for. I mean, if you were looking for a ghost and that happened, you would say that it was a ghost that did it. You know what I mean? So we didn't see what did it, but that was it. We thought that was a Sasquatch, and that was it. So we hit it hard after that for straight through. I haven't stopped.
Wow, man. So what was the next big thing after that moment? What was that kind of the next big?
So we started with this place was hard to get to, and I was looking for a place closer to my house. It was like a 2 hour hike, and we were hitting it like 4 times a week. And we had some stuff going on at the top. We had a whistle that we were using, and they've mimicked it. Um, we've heard whoops up there. We had more stones thrown at us, and it's gotten crazier over the years up there once we went back. But I found a place that my friend owned, and he had private land up in back of his house. So I went there one day and I started checking it out and started finding structures. Structures was the key for me to find. So we started. marking the structures at his place, and we would mark it and mark it and mark each one, and then we do all around and then all around, and we came up with a pattern hike. And we would follow that hike all the time. And that's how we would know if something was different along the hike. Well, along that pattern hike for the first time, we got our first wood knocks. And you can see this stuff on my channel on YouTube. It's under Real American Monsters now. It's called Who's Knocking at Larry's Back Door, Son. They were corny, corny freaking videos back then. But we thought we were going to be movie stars too. You know, we thought we were going to hit the YouTube and get million subscribers, and that didn't quite work out either. So Bigfoot's not a big subject for people that you know that are gonna you're gonna get a million followers.
It's not for everyone. Not for
Not
everyone.
for, 'cause mostly nobody thinks that they're real, but I tell you right now, they're 100% real. So we got our first wood knocks because we were going to start gifting, we were trading with them. We are going to try and start trading with whatever was was leaving these structures. So we were actually looking for a place to trade with, and we heard these wood knocks. And we went back where the wood knocks were, and there was this rock just in the middle of the forest, just sitting there. So we started trading there, and we traded with them for 6 years. 6 years we had stuff going on at this place, like unreal stuff. I mean, the property finally got sold, and I almost cried because the last year they were following us, letting us know they were back of us by knocking. You can see that on my channel too. We were finding stuff. We were trading back and forth. We were getting stones and crow feathers, and we were making it hard. We were trading with them, but we made it hard, and we trying to show folks that it was taking hands in what they were doing. We would put a peanut butter jar on a stump and put a rock on top of the peanut butter, right? They love peanut butter and red delicious apples to no end. We learned. So, I mean, I could talk about this for an hour, but
Let's go, brother. It's interesting.
I want to get to all the other good stuff too.
I want it all.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So, all right, we'll go see how far we can take it. So we would put that rock on top of the peanut butter jar, and we would come back, and the peanut butter jar would be gone, and the rock would be directly underneath where the peanut butter jar was. Now, you know that no animal in the forest is grabbing a peanut butter jar and leaving that rock directly underneath it. It was taking hands, taking that rock off and putting the peanut butter jar and putting it back. When we first started, all right, I'll start at the beginning. When we first started trading with them, the first two peanut butter jars were torn in half. They were like ripped. They were like turned like you would turn them vice versa. And they were in two pieces. And all the peanut butter licked out, and they were just left on there. I held the cup up, the peanut butter jar, the third time, and I went like this with the screw to unscrew the cap. We never unsealed them, so they couldn't smell them. And then we sealed it back up. Ever since that day, for 6 years, we never found another peanut butter jar. For 6 years, hundreds of Jif bottles or whatever with containers. Never found another one.
Wow.
Gathering them, they were taking them somewhere. They would never take hot dogs. Never. The hot dogs would just sit there and rot. They would never take a hot dog. Garlic, they would never take. Um, but we were making it hard for them. We would test them. We would pierce the apples through the trees and put them up 14 feet. And we had this stuffed monkey, and we called it Larry's monkey because that was Larry. The whole thing was called Larry's. But we would tie it on branch, right? We would tie the arms on a branch, and the branch was up 10 feet. And then to get it up over the branch, you would have to reach up 16 feet. We found that monkey on the ground a few times with its arms still tied. So that thing had to come up and over the branch to get it. That monkey disappeared for a year and came back the same exact week a year later.
Whoa.
Like it was in pristine condition. No, it didn't have rain damage. I mean, if you're out in the elements here in New England, I live in snow, fall, heat, rain, everything. We get everything. This thing was in pristine condition. It had one little tear in it, and that was it. It was well taken care of. I mean, this stuff is all documented. It's all on my channel.
Mhm.
You can see the trading that went on.
Wow, man. Was it always food and stuff like that?
Well, there was a crystal rock they loved. They loved dinosaur toys. little plastic dinosaurs. They liked the old stuff, like the 1950s type toys, the molded plastics.
Hmm.
They would always take them. Um, and they wouldn't bring us any like objects like that. There was always stones and feathers. That's it. And there was a crystal rock they would take and they would bring back and they would take and they would bring back. And we would come back, a month later and we were like, oh, the crystal rock's back,
Yeah.
back and forth, back and forth. And we started feeding them meat. And we couldn't get up there all the time, life gets in the way. And one time we couldn't get up there for like 2 weeks once we started the meat thing, right? They were coming down to Larry's and slapping the side of the house. They wanted that meat. So Larry's wife said, "Listen, whatever you guys have changed up there, you got to change it back because I don't want them down here." She's seen them. She's seen them. We're actually doing a documentary on the Winston Wildman from where I live right now, filming it, and she's one of the eyewitness reports for it. And she's seen them there in the creek while she's washing dishes and stuff. Like there's a little creek in the backyard and all that where they would come down, but they were coming down and slapping the house when they weren't getting the meat. So
Wow, man.
we stopped. We stopped the meat. Just stopped giving it to them, and that ended. There was no more coming down to the house and slapping. No
Hmm.
more.
You do hear that. That gets reported a lot with Sasquatch activity that they slap the houses, obviously high up because they're so tall.
Yep.
That's wild, man. Did she say what they looked like when she saw them? But
Like a monkey.
okay.
It just looked. I mean, it was probably like 30 yards away in the creek from where she's at, and the creek is set down, and she said it just looked like a little hairy monkey come up the creek and then ran up the hill.
Hmm.
And she used to go to work at 4 o'clock in the morning. She said one ran out in front of her down the road about 50 yards, crossing the street. So yeah, she's seen them. And just recently, and as while we're talking about 2 weeks ago, Larry called me up. He says, "You're not going to believe this, but we're cooking steaks in the backyard, and we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, whoop, whoop, they were getting whooped at like 4 times."
Wow.
And then we put so I went right up there that night. I put recorders out, right? Listen to this strange thing. Put the recorders out, got them back the next day. They both shut off at 3 hours. One was 3 hours and 15 minutes. The other one, I think, was 3 hours and 8 minutes, something like that. Same time, fresh batteries, make it through the night, no problem. Done it 100 million times. No operator error, nothing. It was
Hmm.
to hear the whoops the night before, and then all of a sudden those things shut off at the same time.
Yeah, man.
Just dead. One of the batteries, they were all dead, drained, like in the paranormal scene, and the others ones were full.
Hmm.
But one set was dead, one was full, but they were both off.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because
Nothing on nothing on the recorders though. That's the
yeah.
strange.
Because you said before about the similarities between like sometimes Bigfoot activity in a forest is sometimes similar to the activity you'll get in like a haunted house, you
Right.
know? And that's another thing that you hear a lot about batteries draining and stuff. Interesting, man.
Right. So Larry's was going on for a long time, and I was traveling. I was involved in a project that was going on in Missouri, and that's where I actually had my first encounter where I seen one on FLIR, two on FLIR down there, and I had one come up to the tent and huff on the side of my face. I listened to it creep up to the tent, and we had the rain gear off, step by step, like not Godzilla steps, like not like God, boom, I'm here, just like heel to toe. And then the next one. And it took 15 minutes to get up. And then all of a sudden, that last footstep, right on the side of my face on the tent. And we had the rain gear off. And I'm like, if I look up right now, I will be able to see whatever's. Look at my hair. Every time I tell
Yeah.
these, it
It made
stands.
mine as well then. Whoa.
But I'm like, if I look up now, I'm going to see whatever's right there. It's right above me. I couldn't do it. I could not do it because I didn't, I was a believer. Like we had the thing, we had the noise and but now it's right there. And I seen it on FLIR because I never thought in a million years I would ever see one. I would tell you the truth right now. And now there's one, what I believe to be right on the side of the tent. So
Oh.
I can't do it. Then all of a sudden, you know what he does? It comes down to me and comes on the side of my face and goes, oh. And I felt the breath on the side of my cheek. and I shook for about 20 minutes. Just shook. I couldn't even, I just was pale white. I was, the guy woke up in the tent that was next to me. I'm standing in the middle of the tent because now I have to go out use a tree. I mean, literally just scared the BD out of me. And I got to go outside now. Now I got to go out there after just having, I'm like, I don't want, what am I going to do? I got to go and I got to get out of here, but I don't want to go out there. The guy that's in the tent wakes up, he shines a light on me, he goes, dude, what's wrong with you? You're pale white. I said, dude, you're not going to believe what just happened to me. And I told him, he's like, why didn't you wake me up? I said, I couldn't because I was shaking. I was shaking so bad. I couldn't. So I just put my headlamp on. I turned the headlamp. I zipped the tent up. I grabbed the bucket. I went probably 20 feet from the tent, whatever, got back in the tent, and that was it. And
Whoa.
yeah, and I went there for like, I think it was 6 years back and forth for 6 years for this project. And, we had a lot of stuff go on. We had a lot of stone throws. We would wake up and there would be a different stone out in front of the tent some nights, and they were in the coolers and taking coffee drinks out of the coolers. It was very cool. But that all
Man.
ended, and I just kept on going with Larry's until, and then just started traveling and meeting different folks.
So when that Sasquatch walked up to the tent, like obviously you had the tent there. So would you have been able to see it? How would you have seen it? Would like through
Would have
the
been able to look up through the rain gear was off, so the tent was
okay.
metal. So it
Yeah.
was a opening, and it was bright enough to where I could have seen what was ever there.
Oh man.
But for some reason, he knew I wasn't looking, or she, and came right down and, whew.
That's wild, man.
And believe me, I'm not the bravest guy anymore after that. It was nighttime when this all happened, and when all my first experience was through the night, and my biggest fear is walking down a trail and being grabbed by one of them, because of the mitts, you've seen the handprints
Hmm.
grab you on the side of the neck and just pull you right in the forest, and you would never be seen again.
Well, a lot of people, as we know, go missing, completely vanish in our forests, and that might be why. We don't know. We don't know, but
I've gotten more
wow.
comfortable over the years with it now because I've been in a lot of close situations and nothing's ever happened. So I mean, there probably won't happen, but I'm just saying, oof, it's just knowing that they're real. Like
Hmm.
now I'm a knower. Now I was a believer. Now I know.
Yeah,
Seeing
that
them
one.
on.
Sorry, man. That one that come close and you felt like the breath and stuff. How do you have any idea how big that was? Do you? I know you didn't look, so it's hard to tell. But did you get a feeling or anything like that?
Oh, I didn't. I had no idea how big it would have been, but from what we saw and what we experienced over the time, there was a family unit there. There was two adults and two kids, two children. And by the end of it, the two children were coming up 2 o'clock in the afternoon and banging and knocking at us to, look at them, because we could see them with the thermals. And that's when I saw my first little one running across a little pasture, jumping and jump behind a rock that afternoon. Because they
Wow, man.
were knocking at us, and we seen him on the thermal. So I approached him, and he took off. And so
And that was the first time you'd seen one with the naked eye
yes,
in
yep.
the thermal. Whoa. And how big would you say that one was?
He was a little. He was little. I would say probably about 4 feet, 4 feet tall.
Hmm.
Oh, the little guy.
That must be incredible though to see that, you know.
Um, there's a lot of strange things that happened there. I heard donkeys and roosters in the forest out there at night, and it was just they just impersonate, sounds and that
Hmm.
they. It's just a wild ride once you're involved in it and you're lucky enough to I think they accept certain folks, you know what I mean? I think that huff on the side of my face was a marking of some sort to, it's okay. But I'll tell you something that goes along with it. When I was 10 years old, I was here in Connecticut, and probably in the 70s, and there was a lot of sightings here in my Northwest. There's been sightings here since 1880 here in my town. And in the 70s, when I was 10 years old, there was a lot of sightings here. I was at my father's boss's house. He had a little trail. He would cut wood, and he had a little tractor, and he would pay me at 25 cents to go and clear the trails for him for a day. He get a quarter. But he left me alone one time and the woods closed in on me. It was like a portal, like the whole everything just closed into this little bright little circle in front of me and I had this feeling. It was just weird and I didn't know what it was. That same feeling came back to me that night in the tent. So I'm thinking I was 10. I was having a Sasquatch experience then because it was the same exact feeling, the same exact fear, the same exact whatever, the adrenaline, anxiety, whatever they project into you. Because I believe that they can do that.
Hmm. Wow, man. How long did that feeling last for? Can you remember when you was young? How long?
When I was young, it would probably till the guy came back because I was all by myself and probably ended when he came back. I can still see that in my head. That's one of those moments, when you can remember forever.
Hmm. Hmm.
One of the moments I can remember forever.
Wow, man.
I can tell the day. I can see that. I can close my eye. I can see it.
Yeah. So it's like the picture that you were looking at just like closed in.
Yeah, everything closed into like a tunnel vision. Yep. And then I
Interesting.
got that same feeling that night when that or what I believe to be a Sasquatch hopped on the side of my face.
Hmm. Wow, man. Have you seen any other? Have you seen Sasquatch like during the day or anything like that? Have you had any other sightings, visuals of these things?
I haven't had any more sightings since Missouri. I've had seen them on thermal. We actually caught one here in Connecticut doing the spider crawl on his fingertips coming down the mountain, and we were camping and we're filmed. I bought a FLIR that you could record on. It was a police HS 324, I believe is the model, and you could record with it. And me and my friend were there, and they were throwing stones at us, and coming in at the campsite, and we're just sitting there. And I got the FLIR out, and there he is. He's coming down the hill like this. It was the craziest. I can't even imitate it. And my buddies, we're watching this and we're filming it and we're recording it. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe we're getting this on tape. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. We got home the next day. He's like, all right, let's put it on the big screen and look at it. We pop it in. Nothing. Nothing on the recorder. To this day, he's still mad about it. He's like, I can't believe you lost that. I can't believe you did. Dude, you were with me. What did I do to it? Why would I want to lose that?
Whoa, what was just like wiped?
It's wiped, gone. But it was the creepiest thing you've ever seen. It was like this. I had to. I know it was the creepiest thing.
Wow. And I mean, a lot of people describe seeing these things move, as you say, in like a spider
Yeah.
fashion. And people that describe seeing it say it's like it looks unnatural, like
Hmm.
because it's not. I don't know if any humans can move like that, but it's like literally like a spider, like the shape of a spider, and it's people describe it. It's like not. It's like a like I think you said it before we started recording, maybe that like a floating. Well, you
Yeah.
might have said
Yeah.
it while we was recording, but like it's like it just looks unnatural. It doesn't look like
Yeah.
anything we can imagine, basically. Is
Yeah.
that?
That's exactly it. It's just it's unnatural. You couldn't believe something that big could move like that. And it's like it's creeping on you. You know what I mean? It doesn't think that you can see it, and we're looking at it. And he's creeping in on us. I mean, I got the recording on. You can go to my again on my channel.
Hmm.
Most of the stuff I talk about is on my channel, so you guys can go see it.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
mean, I'm describing it to you, and what we capture, you'll see. Again, we're not freaking award-winning film artists or video makers or anything like that, but it's there for all to see. And I play the recordings that we got. They start throwing stones, and they get closer and closer with the stones. And by the time we went to bed, they're right there. They're right there in the campsite because they throw one real close. And it's just very cool how they progress in on you. And that was pretty cool that we caught that. But then we started picking up EVPs and stuff like that, and then it all started changing.
Interesting, man. Well, I'm gonna get into that. I'm gonna write that down just so I don't forget. But the crawling one that you saw, what color was that? Can you remember what color that was?
Orange and yellow glowing. It was on the thermal, so it was
Okay.
it was hot.
Okay, okay. Oh man. And I know it's difficult, but how big would you say it was? I know that's hard, especially on
Say
a
eight,
thermal.
8 to 9 feet, I would say, because it was big. I mean, it was wide, and when he was down on his, it's just unreal. And he was like 5 inches off the ground. That's what we thought.
Yeah.
How can something that big just crawl? That takes superior strength.
Hmm. Hmm.
Even for us to do that, we couldn't do that. I mean, a gymnast probably could, but a normal person couldn't. And
Hmm.
certainly nobody that was camping in that, if there was someone camping in the forest, wasn't doing that.
Yeah. And did you say that was coming downhill as well?
Coming down the hill,
Yeah,
right?
so I mean, that would be so difficult to
Mhm.
do that. Ah, man. Whoa. I've seen visuals like drawings that people have, made of what they've seen these creatures do in the spider position. And it does look so unnatural and so difficult. And it's like they're holding themselves up on their fingers and they're literally these giant beasts that like so low down. Can you remember what like the legs look like the shape of the legs?
And no, we couldn't really see the backside too much. All we seen was his front gate, the shoulders and the head, and you
Mhm.
know, coming down. Like, I don't know if anybody can see me, but that's how it looked. It was like
If they're
this
on the YouTube, they can see you. But if they're listening,
putting their head like this, and yeah, it was creepy. I wish that I
man.
could have my buddies. He's right down the street. I could go get him.
Yeah. Wow, man. I have to get him on as well. Man. And that's something that must have been so frustrating because you thought you had that on
I thought I had it.
recorded.
Yes, it was so frustrating that we didn't get it.
Yeah. And how many times do you hear that, man? Obviously, you've heard that many times where people say,
Oh, numerous times.
yeah, there's got to
Yep.
be something to that. There's got to be
Had
a
it
reason.
definitely more than once. I've had it at Larry's. Our whole GoPro would just go. The whole thing would just get wiped out. Battery and all. Brand new battery wiped. Yeah. The guy that used to come with Larry used to feel sick often up there. He would get like a stomach thing and he'd feel like he was gonna get sick up there and
Hmm.
often. Um so
Yeah, and that's a lot of people report that as well. Getting
I think it has to do with radio frequency and we'll get into that shortly. I'll tell you why I think that.
interesting, man. And again, going back to what we were saying about like haunted houses, people report that, getting sick when they're in a haunted location. People all of a sudden get really sick and it seems to happen out of nowhere and same kind of same kind of experiences. But interesting, man. Interesting. So you mentioned EVP as well. You was getting EVPs. What was that?
We would get him off and we would get him at the original area we would get him to. I didn't know anything about ghosts. I didn't know EVPs until Ghost Hunters started coming out and I started following that. But we had one really cool one that we were hiking up and we heard this. I got back and I'm editing and I'm going through and listen to it and then you hear this old miner guy go, "Look at the old oak tree." Well, just like that. That's what he goes. "Look at the old oak tree." Right? We don't hear it, of course, but we take 10 more steps while we're going up this place and there's this big oak tree that's broken and laying down in the forest right along the path, like this huge oak tree, and it's right there. I get home, I get there the next day, I'm editing and you hear that voice, and then 10 steps later, you're at the old oak tree. It was just wild.
That is, man.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's not Bigfoot activity. You don't think that's
No, I
that's
don't think. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It's a
Going back
crazy
to
place up there at People's Forest where we go. There's a lot of history there. There's been, Native Americans there for years, and there was a stagecoach road over there, and there was a little West Side Story between the native girl and the town boy, and battles, and yeah. So it's a pretty interesting area. So we picked up some pretty cool EVPs up there, imitating us now, saying what we're saying and stuff like that.
wow, when you're hearing the voices,
Oh
because
yeah,
that's often the way as well. It's when you look back, like, as you say, when you're editing, you might not always hear it at the time, but something
right.
gets picked up. Oh man,
Two
interesting.
girls that go out with us one time heard a pig grunt. And they're like, "Oh, we just heard a pig grunt." I said, "I'm like, Shayna, did you have your recorder going?" She goes, "Oh yeah, the recorder's going," because we always have recorders in our backpacks going all the time, 24/7 while we're out there. And I'm like, "Oh, cool." So I got home. Right when I got home that day, I took her car down, I put it in, and we time stamped it so I could go right to it. Put it in. I'm like, "Oh, we're gonna hear this pig grunt, right?" Because you've heard them pig grunt before. We don't have pigs here in Northwest Connecticut, so we know it wasn't that. Put it in there. All of a sudden, you hear a guy go, "Hello." And then another 8 seconds, another guy goes, "Hello." Two EVPs of two different voices saying hello to each other. And you hear the girls reacting to it. You're like, "Did you hear that?" And that's what they heard was a pig grunt, but what they were saying was hello.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's on my
That's
channel. You can go see that too. You can hear that.
that is wild, man.
Yep.
Wow. So you're picking up Bigfoot activity. Obviously, high strangeness is everywhere, but there does seem to be certain areas that, for whatever reason, it just more seems to happen. We don't know why. Portals, whatever it is, whatever, but it's so interesting, man. Going back to the Bigfoot and finding the structures that you would find, were they always like the same? Were they like the TP style structures, or were they always like different structures? What kind of
Well,
things are
here,
you finding?
well, here in Northwest Connecticut, they're not big structure makers. They're not like these big, huge teepees like you had. I've had one left in the backyard. I'll tell you after I answer your question first. Um, we would find little teepees, like little tiny ones, and it would always be like with a little pole in the middle with a hook on it. Like it was a pot, or like you would hang a pot on it, like it was imitating an old fires or something, And you find those over at the forest where the campgrounds are. You would find them along the roads like that. What we might only find was the snaps. That's what we would follow. That's what I learned to follow. Learn how to follow the directions of the snaps, and the thing about the snaps is they have to be turned, just not like a regular snap, because that can happen with snowfall or that can happen rot. But when they come through, they grab the tree. What we imagine is they grab it and they snap it and they turn it because they're walking by. They're big enough where they just snap, turn, and walk. So it's folded and snapped. You know what I mean? So that's what we would follow, and we would follow the directions of the snaps. And believe it or not, that's what led us to these areas. 100%, no lies. That's what led us to it was the snaps.
So these things are guiding you. They're showing you the way.
Well, they're leaving it for themselves, I believe.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah.
we're following their stuff. And if they see you, now this is another thing that people, if they're interested in doing this, if they see you noticing what they do, they're gonna interact with you more. They're like they said, they'll leave stuff. That's why we did pattern hikes, so we would notice different things. We would walk. There was this down tree at Larry's. It was a pushed over, rotted tree. It was a big root ball just standing up on end, and there would be a stick on it. Right, there was this log. And one time we would do the same hike all the time, and we would go by the same place. We would go through the same path. And one time we would be up there, and it would be on the left hand side. The next day, next time, or 2 days later, it would be on the right hand side, and they would alternate left, right, left, right. One time we went up there and it was balanced right on top of this root ball, just like perfectly balanced. And I'm like, Larry, they got to be right here. They got to be right here. And they would play that game there. And then 10 feet up the way, they used to leave us stones. They left a stone. I can grab it right now. Hope you guys didn't get a shot of my pajamas.
We got it, man. We got it. Cool,
Well,
cool PJs, though, man. So,
at least I got pants on.
oh
So this
wow.
is this is one of the gifted stones that they left for us right here. It's all quartz there, and it's got some buck, but they left it along the trail so we would find it. It was dry underneath it. There was no moisture. It was never there. I point. You can see it in the video. I go backtrack. I show people the same tree, the same spot, the same everything, and it was never there. One time we would do the pattern hike, and it was left there. So that's one of the stones. I got a ton more
Yeah,
stones.
because that's a pretty big stone. Like you would notice that on
Oh
your.
yeah, I've chipped it off too. I've sent pieces to people. I sent, if you ever do you know who Snow White Bigfoot is? You familiar with her from YouTube?
I'm not sure. I'll check her out.
But I sent a piece of rock to her, and
Yeah.
because she had Sasquatch just come up to her back porch for like 10 years now.
Oh wow.
Play games with her and leave her gifts. But she had one of my stones, and they would come and interact with the stone. They would take it and they would bring it back to her. They would move it around the house and stuff like that. So I sent it to other people to see if they got reaction, and it got reaction in a couple places. So
Interesting.
Yeah. Just to see if they would react to another, another person's gift. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah, man. And maybe these things can sense that it was a gift, or they can. I don't know if they can smell themselves on other things
Well,
or whatever. But
I think that they have a radiation to them. I think from them coming and going, that's what I believe. I believe that they come and go. I believe they know how to use whatever they use to come and go. And I believe that, you ever see the white handprints and the white prints that they leave on cars and everything? They have a name for it. I think it's Alba Burnex or Verdex now. They made a name for it, right? I guarantee you, I bet you $10. I mean, that's gentleman's bet or whatever, that that's radioactive. I bet you any amount of money that's radio. So if any listeners ever get that, get a Geiger counter and see if it registers. Because I'm almost 100% sure that that's going to be radioactive.
interesting, man. Yeah.
Because it
Oh,
stays on your car forever. You try and wash it off, it doesn't. It's like embedded. So
it's
a heat substance with that jelly-like substance, and yeah, that's what I
mhm.
think.
Got like a big burn.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. I want to get into where you started. Your opinion started leading towards like these things having abilities with frequency and stuff like that. What was the TP in your yard that you was going to tell us about? Did you
All
say
right,
you
yeah,
had?
yep. So I got sick during when I was trading with them. My gallbladder went, and I had to go in for surgery. So I went and got my gallbladder out, and I wasn't up there for like a month. One morning I woke up when I was almost healed. It was probably right on the month, near the month mark, and my wife goes, "Go, what's that? What's that down by the back door?" And I'm like, I have no idea what that is by the back door. And I'm looking over the window. I said, I'll go look now. So I went downstairs. I go and look, and there's a freshly ripped off the dog coyote leg at my back door. Blood, skin, warm. I hope it was roadkill because I would feel bad for the animal. Left right at my back door. For me, as what we've now come up with as a gift to get well because I wasn't back up there or where you been, we're looking for you or whatever, a sign from them. So I threw it back in the forest. And I work where I live. I'm a superintendent of a building complex and I take care of the whole place. And I went to go get the guys at work because they know what I do. And I went to come show them. And when we got back down here, the leg was gone, 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 just nowhere to be found. So
Wow, man.
whatever put that there was right there in the forest and took it back. So I don't know. A few days later, I went down there's an entrance right down my here by my house, like, I don't know, 50 yards, and it goes down in the hill. And out by this hill, there's a big, huge teepee structure just built into an old crane that's sitting down in there, leaning up against a tree. Typical Bigfoot, all the same signs, the door, the little bar over the door, the same way they build them all over the place. Sitting right in my backyard after that coyote leg.
Wow.
So yeah, and it's still
That's
to
wild.
this day. It's still back there. I can send you pictures after the show.
Yeah, man. Please. Yeah. Wow. That is incredible, man. Because
Yeah.
obviously we know that like our pet cats. I haven't got a pet cat, but we cats do bring gifts to their owners. To a mice or a bird or whatever they've caught. So it's kind of like that.
Yep.
That is
Well,
insane.
that's the theory. I mean, I can't. I can only, yeah, I can only theorize, and that's what we think.
Yeah. Because I mean, what else? What else would have done that?
Nothing.
A crazy person.
Knows what I was doing. Nobody knew
Yeah.
that. Why would have they put a coyote like at my back door? And nothing, no other animal parts have shown back up since either.
Mhm.
Because everybody says I put it back in the woods, so I, it's like I didn't accept it.
Interesting, man.
Yep.
Wow. You literally
I
live in
got
one of my.
pictures of that too. I can send you if you want to see it.
Yeah, I'd love to, man. Yeah. You live in like one of my dream places. I really want to live in New England and be in near a forested area that's got Bigfoot activity. That is like my dream. So I'd love to live where you are, man.
So we've had a lot of activity at the house. My wife has experienced Bigfoot activity. Once we get into the frequency stuff, I'll tell you how we came up with that. And um, so the frequency stuff. started with my friend Chris Connor. He runs the Trail to Bigfoot. He lives down in Florida, and he invited me down to the Green Swamp with me to come, and check out his area because he's had a lot of action. You can check out his stuff on YouTube too. He used to trade with him at a place called the Fridge, and he had a lot of good stuff go on down there. And we had a lot of crazy stuff go on when I visited. So I went down there for the first time. He takes out this meter, and I'm like, "What is that meter?" He's like, "This is a tri-field meter. It's got raw radio frequency, magnetism on it, all of them, four different settings." I'm like, "Well, what's that for?" He goes, "Well, I've been following Skinwalker Ranch, and I got this theory, and I just wanted to start trying to use it for Bigfoot, see what happens." So first day out in the forest, we bring it. We're out in the Green Swamp. We're about 3 miles into the Green Swamp. We're in. It's a beautiful place. It's hot. July, I think it was. And I have pheromone chips. I bought these pheromone chips. That they leave out by trail cameras and everything. They got gorilla how do you say it? Estrogen or not estrogen?
Estrogen, I think.
Estrogen. All that stuff mixed in it. So we hang one in the tree and we're sitting out there, and then we had stuff coming happening on our way, and there was stuff you could tell something was with us. And then all of a sudden now there's rocks coming in at us, and they start falling in side, above us, side of us, above us, the side of us. And he takes out the meter, and all of a sudden the meter gets pinned. Like you can't go any higher. Like one dash 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 dash, and it's just beeping beep, and the stones are coming in, and it's crazy, and it goes on, for a little while. Then it slows down, it turns it off. We end up staying there for a little while, and then the next day he brings me to another spot, and he goes, "This is a spot where if I usually can ask for a knock, I usually get one." I'm like, "Oh, well, that'll be cool. Let's see if that happens. Let's, try that out." So he goes, "So my friend Chris doesn't think I'm crazy. Please do a knock for me." Well, sure behold, 10 seconds later, here comes a knock. Boom, knock. Then Chris's phone starts going wacko. Like something's trying to dig into his phone, like into his personal stuff. It's scanning his phone, like jumping all, it's going crazy all over and then the RF meter is turned on, it's beeping like crazy. Beep. I just got a brand new phone. And he goes, "Look at your phone." I said, "Well, nobody's got my number but you and my wife." So I looked at it, and I'm looking at my phone, and I turned it on, and I'm like, "Oh, there's nothing, but there's a text message going out." I'm like, "Well, that's very strange." And so meanwhile, the RF meter is toned down, and his phone has stopped, and now we're looking at my phone, and there's a text message that's going out to somebody, a friend of mine, and it says CB, is it CBMM, over and over again, right. Let's see, Chris, no, CBBM, over and over again. Four letters, like 31 lines. So I figure butt dial. It's in my pocket. For some reason, these all got repeated. So we erased 20 lines and recorded the last 11 just to get them on film. And then we erased everything. And everything quieted down. We had a couple rock throws on our way out, and that was it. And then we went home. I got out of the shower at his house. We took showers. We got home. I pick up my phone. I look at my phone, and guess what's back? The four initials again. But now there's capital letters, there's a parentheses, there's apostrophes, there's commas. And I'm like, "Chris," I go out to, he's at the computer. I'm like, "Chris, it's back." He looks at it, he goes, "Oh my God, it's back." I'm like, "Yeah, it's back, dude." And look at, there's more stuff. He goes, "Oh my God, what is going on?" We couldn't figure out. We were blowing our minds. Was it Morse code? Were we picking up something? And all of a sudden his wife walks over, and we're like, "Beata, look at this." And she looks at it and she goes, "I know exactly what that is." And Chris and I are like, "What?" We've been trying to figure this out all afternoon. She goes, "Yeah, Beata, Betty, Chris, and Mark. The first four initials of the four people that have been in the Green Swamp for the last 10 years looking for the Bigfoot." My head just went, I was like, "Oh my Lord." That's when it got weird. That's when it got weird. So 2 weeks later, I'm home. I got a guy that comes down from Massachusetts. He wants to come up to my area, so we bring him over to the forest. We start going up to the forest, and he were walking up to the top of the spot where all the stuff happens usually, and his phone starts going crazy. All of a sudden, it breaks out and starts playing YouTube videos just out of his pocket. It's all turned off. It's in his pocket. It's locked. It's now he's playing YouTube videos. We get up to the top. That ends. We're sitting there having lunch. I take my phone out. I go live on my Facebook group to show him this fake fire pit up there. There's a fire pit there that you'd find twigs broken, like they're building a fire, and then you would go up and they would be gone, and something else. It was just manipulated all differently. So I go over there, I put the phone down at the fire pit and go to show them, and all of a sudden, a rock comes flying in and hits the fire pit. Everybody that's live on my Facebook, oh my God, we seen that. What was that? Was that a rock? Oh, no, no. Everybody's going, oh my God, I seen that. I'm like, yep, that was a rock. All of a sudden, now from the right side, boom, rock comes in. From the left side, another. There's like three of them. There's rocks coming in. We take out the meter. Beep. It's pinned again. One dash 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 dash. 15 minutes pinned. Putting it up to it's not the phones. We've tested the phones. We took it to radio towers. We took it. So we write the company. After all this stuff happens, we write the company to find out what does it mean when it says one dash dash dash. Doesn't go any higher. That's what that means. That's all the answer we got, right? So we had a guy that seen the video, Chris's video. You put out a video. If you go to, you can see all this too. Now, everything I'm telling you, you can go to Chris's channel. It's called The Trail to Bigfoot, and it's called Skinwalker Swamp series. And you can see all this on that. He shows us everything that happened down there. And then you can go to my channel, Discover Sasquatch. I did an interview, a podcast when we first got back, and you can see all the stuff on there too. So everything I'm telling you again, you can go and see. So this satellite communication guy reaches out to us and he sees the video. I've been working satellite communications for 30 years, fellas. I did research on your meter. It's a broadband meter, so you're picking up, everything for, 30 feet. It's not a centralized meter. If you guys were in a Faraday box and you were getting those levels of radiation, you would be cooked like you were in a microwave. He says there's nothing in the forest that should be reading over 16 point on your meters and above. Nothing. And we're getting it regularly now. We're getting it up at the top of the mountain. We're getting readings. I was up there 2 weeks ago. We were getting 18 point and above. So that's when the frequency thing, that's when I started diving in head first with the frequency and the frequency. So I'll just keep on rolling. So Maria, my wife, she feeds every animal possible in the book. The birds, the squirrels, not the bears too much. We don't like to feed the bears because they're too big. We got the grandbabies here, but you know what I mean. She'll feed all the animals.
Hmm.
So we had a hummingbird feeder, and for a week straight, all her water and her hummingbird water was being drank empty. Every night she would fill it. The next morning it'd be gone. And every day the flowers were all plucked off of it and thrown all over the place. Well, on the third day or the fourth day, on the fourth day, and I've been telling this story wrong, and she had to correct me like a week ago, and I'm glad that she corrected me. All the flowers were gone but one. Now, I was telling everybody all the flowers were there but one, and one was taken. No, four flowers were taken. One flower was there. And she was mad because she kept on having to make the thing. Now, she's been with me for all these years. She knows the stuff that's been going on. She knows the leg happened. She's seen spacecraft with me. She's experienced a lot of stuff. Yeah, I've seen UFOs too. And
I'm going to ask you about that in a bit.
yeah, it's just, and people are like, yeah, this guy's full of baloney. Well, no, I'm not. I'm not making anything out of this. I mean, I'm telling you my story. If you choose to believe me, it's okay. I'm trying to share what's happened, and my wife will vouch for me. She'll vouch. She's seen it. So on the fourth day, she comes in. She goes, "You go out there and you tell your friends that I want my flowers back and stop drinking the water." I'm like, all right, that's gonna work. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna tell them. So I go out there just to humor her, and I said, Maria wants her flowers back, guys, and please stop drinking her stuff, right? The next morning comes and she comes in and she goes, "You're not going to believe this." I'm like, "What do you mean? What am I? I'm at this point I believe any. I can't, I believe there's nothing that can surprise me anymore." She goes, "I went outside, all my flowers are back." And she goes, "And they were put in a nice little pile directly underneath the hummingbird feeder." Directly under the Now this is her experiencing. This isn't me. I'm like, "Wow." And she's like, "Yeah, wow." So that night I'm laying in bed and my grandbabies live with me. I was telling you that earlier. And well they did, not any longer, but they were there and they were in the tub. And I'm laying in bed and my room is adjacent to the tub and so they're in the tub and my room starts shaking like that. And I'm like, "Oh, what are the kids doing in the tub?" I got up out of the bed, I opened up the door. "What are you guys doing in the tub?" I'm angry grandfather. And Maria yells up the stairs, "It's not the kids." She says, "There's a blacked out helicopter over our apartment right now." And I'm like, look at my hair is standing straight up until I got the goosebumps on this one. And it's right above our apartment. It was 50 feet above our place, just hovering, all blacked out, just and the whole place is just shaking like, and it was there for like 10 minutes and then just took off. After that night, no more hummingbird stuff. It all stopped. No more drinking the water, no more of the flowers, no nothing after that helicopter. And I'm like, "What is going on with the helicopters and this and that?" And it was like blowing my mind. I didn't know what to think anymore. And yeah, so the hummingbird. Now this is leads me to the frequency. This is why I went down this road. I had a whole bunch of. You'll have to have me back because I can tell you the craziest story that involves what I just told you, along with other stuff like mind speak and all this stuff
Oh man, I want it all. I want it all, brother.
that happened at the same time. And it never happened again. I never received the mind speak again, but it did happen. And I can tell you all the theory on that and everything. But I have a friend named MK Davis. I'm sure you probably know MK Davis.
Hmm.
I called him up and I told him about the hummingbird stuff because it was blowing my mind. The blacked out helicopter, da 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 da. He goes, "I don't think the Bigfoot liked the hummingbirds." I'm like, "Why didn't why?" Because I had the same thing happen with my hummingbird feeder. They were just wrecking it. They were just tearing it because he had them at his house too, the Sasquatch, and tearing the thing apart and either pouring the juice out or drinking it. And it did it for a long time until he stopped. He told me stories of how he used to park his car underneath the hummingbird feeder and his battery would be drained. So I did research. The frequency of the hummingbird's like wing, this like when it's hovering, is 40 hertz, right? So I went out and I got a 40 hertz tuning fork and I started bringing it up to my areas and ringing it, and we started getting rock throws and stuff going on and EVPs. And like the last time I used it up there, I'm using it and I say, "They're here." And then my buddy Larry goes, "Oh, yeah, they're here." And then you hear another voice go, "They're here." And the girls that were with me, the part of the team, one witnessed one up there that day, but we did the 40 hertz. So I started getting involved with Doug Hychek from Monster Quest. He's a good friend of mine now, and we've went up to Snell Grove Lake and together. And I told him about the hummingbird thing. I told him how I think 40 hertz is something that the Bigfoot, there's something with the Bigfoot. He goes, "You're not going to believe this." He goes, "Hold on." So he calls up David Ellis. David Ellis with the Olympic Project. "David, this is Chris. Chris is David. Chris, tell David your story." So I tell him about the 40 hertz. He says, "You're not going to believe this, Chris. So listen to this. There's a man named Tristan Yolton in Washington State who put a peanut butter jar out and he has a recording. They called it the Bigfoot purr. They believe, well, they had the peanut butter jar. It looks like the Bigfoot was dipping his fingers in the peanut butter jar and eating it. You can hear him. He's slapping his lips with it. But in the background, you hear the almost like he's purring because he's happy he's eating the peanut butter. He goes, "Chris, guess what hertz level the hum is coming from the Bigfoot?" I'm like, "Is it 40 hertz?" He's like, "Yes, it's 40 hertz." So we put it out everywhere. I said, does anybody have a recording that's something that sounds like a hummingbird, right? We started getting recordings from North Carolina, from Sierra Mountains, from everywhere, but this hummingbird, this hum. And guess what level all the hums are? 40 hertz.
Whoa.
So that's where the frequency thing is taking me. That might be a discovery. That might be something that the Bigfoot is using. We don't know for what. So we're up at Snow Grove Lake last year, right? And we record it and we call blast it up at the snow. Now, Snow Grove Lake is nothing for 500 square miles. They drop you off by, what do they call them? Float planes. And they leave
Yeah.
you for a week. And they advise you don't do anything stupid because if we can't come get you and you're bleeding out, you're going to bleed out and you're not going to make it home. So just relax. Don't be doing chopping wood and blah, 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 blah. So we call blasted that morning out on the lake, and Doug knows all about the frequency. He goes, "What are you guys doing? Why are you blasting that frequency? Don't be doing that." And so we turned it off finally. So we're in the cabin that night, and all of a sudden there's a light show on Snow Grove Lake that's unreal. There's white orbs out on the lake. There's red orbs around the cottage. They're just all everybody's seeing them, and we're listening to the security cameras, and there's because we had security camera, we're trying this new camera stuff. We're trying to catch, you're always trying. It doesn't hurt to try. And everybody says, "Well, it won't work." Well, you don't know until you try. So we're listening, and all of a sudden we get a voice that goes, "I'll talk with you," and we're like, "What?" Did everybody heard it at the same? It was live. I mean, after playing that frequency, the light show, now we're getting EVPs. 2 nights later, my friend Bud was sleeping on the couch. We were getting ready to leave the next day. He gets a beam of light come in from the front of Snow Grove cabin. It's all glass. He gets a beam of light that comes in through the glass and hits the couch. He says it's a beam, like a laser, like a sight beam almost, but it was white and thick, shining right in him on the couch. All this after we played that 40 hertz. And we had a lot of Sasquatch stuff go on the year prior up there. It was crazy. I can't really talk too much about it because it's coming out with his new documentary, Legend Meets Science 2. It's coming out, so you guys will be able to all see that. But
Awesome.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So I've had quite the handful of activities along with the crafts.
Yeah. We'll get into that in a bit if you're okay to. I think we're over the hour mark. As long as you're okay to carry on,
Yeah, well, we'll
but
go a little
I've
bit
got
long.
so many questions, man. So many. I'd love to get you back on anytime, but
Sure.
that is wild. So you're continuing with this 40 hertz. You're continuing to get results from this,
Yes, sir.
and that is. Are you definitely putting that down to Sasquatch activity, or are you open to the fact it could be something else going on?
Well, it came from that what we believe to be a Sasquatch in Washington State, and everybody else that sent it in isn't looking for paranormal stuff. They're out there looking for Sasquatch, and they're
Yeah,
habituation areas, and they're picking up this hum.
yeah.
So if anybody's listening to the program and has that hum, please email you or email me, and I'll get it off to David Ellis, and we'll put it in the memory banks.
It's so interesting because, like we were saying before, the Sasquatch activity in the forest that we're experiencing is sometimes very similar to paranormal activity that you will experience in a haunted house, and there's got to be something to it, man. It's very common. In fact, the more I learn, talking about, oh, what have I done? Sorry, man. I've talking about paranormal activity. Oh, oh, get off Siri. I've got it off now. Sorry, man. What have I done to my screen as well?
Oh, yeah, I guess you look same to
Do I still
me.
look the same? Okay. Don't know what I did there, man. That one? No, he's gone. There he is. Okay, I've changed something on my screen, but we're still there. Yeah. What was I saying before I completely messed up my?
I don't remember.
But yes, so
Got pajama bottoms on at 8 o'clock. Right.
so paranormal activity and Sasquatch activity. it all seems to be connected, man. These things seem to be connected. They're all very similar. That's wild.
I'm invested in ghost stuff now. I'm building a what do they call them? Ghost box, where you can ask questions, and I'm going to start asking questions to this, if there's a Bigfoot or out there, or if they're whatever. I'm going to start using them more and more.
Hmm.
We're
Yeah.
looking at other stuff. I'm going to start using coils. I think coils could be useful out there. I think the energy, if we learn how to harness that 40 hertz and use how to the energies and um I just that's where I think it's leading me. I mean, this I can only go where it's led me. This is being shown to me. I mean,
Hmm.
and I have my haters. I have people out there that do not like me, and they think that I'm crazy been talking this way. But I have people that back me up on all this. I've had witnesses to everything.
Hmm.
Have never been alone to anything I told you.
Hmm.
Always somebody there. So I have nothing to gain by, the only thing I have to gain is, you guys thinking that I need to be in a straitjacket, but I'm here sharing this with you because it's important.
Hmm. Absolutely.
I had a friend named Kerry Arnold, and he was a guy about awareness, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to keep it. He died in a car crash that was awful,
Oh,
and but I'm trying to keep him going. I'm trying to, be aware that this stuff is real. I had Father Bob on my show. You know Father Bob, right? And we
hmm.
talked about demons and we talked about Annabelle the doll and um I asked him about portals and here's a Catholic priest telling you that 100% no doubt about it, their portals are real and you have to be aware. And I mean, if we can just get that to cross to two people, one person that because when I had that dog interaction, right, that whimper, I saw a family go into the woods, the following week in there, and they're going in the same spot. What if they heard that, and what if they didn't? What if they followed it, and what if the outcome was different?
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know what I mean? What if they went in there and thought it was a dog and, like we did, and they saw it was three women, a mother with two little girls, and that's not good.
Hmm.
My wife
Yeah.
won't go in the woods no more. She will not go in the forest no more. I've ruined the forest for her.
Oh man. Yeah.
She hasn't been in the honest to God, she hasn't been in the forest in years.
Wow.
Oh, we were followed the last time she went in. We were a black figure. I've had to have my house blessed twice. I had scratches underneath my arm, three of them.
Hmm.
The babies were seeing monsters in the house that said they looked like monkeys. I seen full apparition in my basement hallway. This stuff is 100%. Look at my hair. My hair is just the
Hmm.
whole has been straight up.
Yeah, man.
It's real. It's 100% real, and I don't know why I'm fortunate enough to experience all this. I really don't, but
Hmm.
it's a wild ride, and it's 100% real. And I've experienced everything I've told you 100%. I have not made up any of it.
Hmm. That's incredible, man. I feel like when you look into the paranormal, and I'm putting Bigfoot and UFOs and all that stuff in the same box when I say that, because it does seem to all be connected and paranormal and supernatural. I feel like when you look into it, it does look back. And obviously, you've been heavily researching this stuff, and the more you do, I think it does look back, man. And your experience. What was the apparition look like that you saw?
Oh, it was definitely ET, little skinny, big-headed thing. Black, totally black.
Hmm.
Was I was talking to my daughter-in-law, and she was sitting in the kitchen. We were talking about how the kids were seeing a little old lady upstairs, and they always see her. They have the gift, the grandkids, and she has the gift. Her grandmother had the gift. They have the gift, and they can see these things, and it scares them.
Hmm.
Um, so we were talking about how they were seeing this little old lady, and I turned my head around to look, just to turn around and back, and there it was, right in the hallway. Right in the,
Whoa.
there's like a doorway, and it goes down into the basement. It was just it was probably about 4.5 feet, 5 foot tall,
Hmm.
just right there, plain as day, solid black. Um,
Wow.
so I had to smudge my basement myself that time, and after I did it, I opened up the door. I said, "The door is now open. You must leave." All the stuff on my there's a shelf over the laundry, like the washer and dryer. There's a shelf, and all the stuff on top of the shelf just went right off the top of the shelf. when I said the door is open, you must leave now.
Man, was that the
And
first time you'd ever seen anything like that?
no, I seen them when I was a child. I seen ghosts. I seen a full like a Scooby Doo ghost when I was 3 in my room. Yeah, just hovering, coming in at me like ooh, like a Scooby Doo. Like the big white sheet ghost.
Hmm.
Seen that. I seen doorknobs move and stuff like that when I was younger. So
Yeah.
I've had experiences when I am younger, and I probably had more, but I don't remember them.
Hmm. Wow, man. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to record another one because we can
Yeah, I
we
know.
can
I
we
could go. I didn't even get into the good stuff, like the mind speak of the what I believe to be the ones from Larry's, because Larry's got sold my habituation area, and we could never go back there. And we had stuff going on. We were there. They had to be looking for us. And one, there was a sighting in town. It was just like by a regular person. I couldn't believe it. And it was down in a creek, and they said they heard a pig break, wah, wah, wah. And she looked up and she saw a Bigfoot cross the creek and run up into the forest. Well, this was over towards my area. It would be heading towards me. And I believe it's well, now I know what it was. It was the female that was up at Larry's, what we thought was the young, because she got left. The mother, we used to find 3 sets of prints up there all the time. We watched the little one grow. The prints would grow every year. They would get bigger and bigger and bigger. But the last year, or like the last 2 years, the mother and father's prints we weren't seeing anymore. Once in a while they were around, but they weren't around as much as they were before. And I know it's a she now, and she was there by herself, and we thought that maybe they were leaving her to start her own thing or whatever. And must have been what the person saw that day, because I had the crazy dreams or I meditate every night before I go to sleep, and she came to me and told me her name was Natari, and I've never heard of a name Natari before. I would never speak the word Natari, and I have pictures drawn of her, what she looked like. And in the meditation, I said, if you're real, I need to know, you need to leave me something else so I know that I'm not just dreaming this. And the next day I walked downstairs and my wife goes, look out in the backyard. What's all that stuff? I'm like, I don't know. Again, I'm looking in the backyard. I go outside and there's a Tupperware container and a monkey with Velcro hands. Not the same, because I had the monkey from from Larry's, but we would bury all their gifts in the ground at the end in Tupperware containers, under rocks and dirt in the ground, and the monkey strapped to the tree. And I asked for a sign the night before, if this is real, leave me a sign that this is real. And those were left in the backyard.
man.
And nobody else in the world would know that.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Would know, and then know what happened that night. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Wow, man. Was that the mind speak? Was that
That
the
was the
mind?
mind. That was the mind speak. She showed me her face. She has like Rasta hair and she has like Elvis sideburns. I wish I could show you on here. If we were on StreamYard, I have them all loaded there. I could show you.
Wow. And did that look more like ape or human? What was
She
it?
looked like almost human, but she had a lot of hair. She had like the sideburns, like you. Like if you cut your beard off right here,
Hmm.
that's what she had. She had like thick hair on her sides, and then she had like dreads that went over her face. And yeah, she had big long hair, big black eyes with like wrinkles. Oh, I can still see her. I mean, she came right to me. She came right to
Wow.
me. She came right like I'll do it right at your camera. I'm like, she was just like this. She come right at me, Natari, just like that. And I woke up. I'm like, whoa, what was that? Because she was started off. She was like, nah, 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 and you would see little glimpses, and then it would just black out, and then all of a sudden it would come back, nah, 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 and then it black out, and then all of a sudden, Natari, and she was right there. I'll send you, I'll send you the pictures afterwards too of her.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I mean, wait till you see her eyes, big black circle eyes.
And was
Oh
that like anything you'd seen before? Like, was
no,
it?
that's never ever anything like that's never happened to me before.
Mhm. Wow,
But
man.
even the stuff in the thing. So this is then we leave. So we take the monkey and I put it in the tree like we used to at the other place. So I forgot how long it was either a week or so or a couple of days. I don't quite remember. I had another one. It was a little black furry one. He was all hair, all black hair, and he had all no hair around his eyeballs. And I had a beach ball on my chest. It was weird. This one was weird. I had a beach ball on my chest, and he comes running across the room. He jumps up on my bed and jumps up onto my right onto the beach ball, and he goes, Archibald, like that. I'm like, what was that? So the next morning I wake up, I come down, I tell my wife, I tell her everything. I don't hide nothing from her. And she goes, well, that was strange, but listen to this. She goes, for the last like 4 or 5 days, none of my animals are around. No squirrels, no birds, no nothing. Nothing's come to the feeders. And when they say they're around, the forest shuts down.
Hmm. Yeah.
Animals around, it quiets. And I'm like, wow. She goes, yeah, but that's not all it. Look in the backyard. So I look out the back window and guess what's gone? The monkey in the tree. Gone.
Wow.
So he took the monkey.
Wild, man.
Yeah. I wish I could wake this stuff up. You know what I mean? I'd probably be rich if I could write a book.
Yeah, you got to write a book, man. What do you think that the going back to the helicopter? What do you think was going on there?
I think that was the agency, whatever it does. I think they knew where she was because that was her that was doing the hummingbird stuff. It was Natari.
Hmm.
I'm almost convinced because that's what happened after Natari. That all happened in the same stretch. The mind speak and then the hummingbird stuff. And then after the hummingbird stuff and the blacked out helicopter 2 weeks later, now everyone's going to be like, oh, yeah, what's coming next? Well, yeah, something is coming. We go out to vote. I'm walking out the house. I turn around, I get out to the car, I get to go, I look up, and there's this craft. And it's over our place now, and it's the size of a football field. No lie. It's all copper panels, triangles. It's like dusk. Um, but you could see it's bright enough where you could see. I think it's like 5:30. And I'm like, oh my God, what is that? And Maria comes out, my wife. She comes out, she comes walking down the sidewalk, like, Maria, look up. She goes, last time you told me to look up, I saw that thing. I don't want to see another thing. I'm like, well, you're going to have to look at this because you got to see this. She turns around, she goes, oh my God, what is that? I'm like, what do you think that is? She's like, oh my God, look at the size of that thing. It was huge and it wasn't even making a noise. It was just like hovering, no noise. It had three lights on it. It had a red and blue light on the back and a white light in the front. And it was hovering and it was moving. And it was going down the parking lot. Me and Maria are out in the parking lot. There's other people out here because there's an it's a townhouse complex. We have people here. And Maria and I are going, look at that. Oh my God, do you see that? And we're just like out of our skulls. And it gets down to the end and it banks and it turns on its side to bank. I mean, now we see the top of it. And it's like an octagon shape. And then it flattens back out and it keeps on. She goes, get in the car, get in the car. So we get in the car and we start driving after it. And we're driving. And she goes, do you know what was weird? I'm like, what was weird? Well, other than what we're doing right now? She goes, no, what was weird is that nobody in the parking lot looked at us. We were basically screaming at this thing and not one person turned around.
Whoa.
I'm like, oh my God, you're right. Nobody. I said, yeah, Joe was taking his groceries out. He never even looked at us. It's like we weren't even, she was like, we're like we weren't even there. So we're following this thing and we're following it goes up the hill here and and then it banks to the left again and then it heads and as soon as it hits the woods, poof, gone. And we're like, oh my, and you know what we never did? Never
Filmed
took
it. No.
ever filmed.
It's always the way, man. When you're seeing something so incredible, you just don't think of that.
I wouldn't tell anybody that story if she wasn't with me. If I didn't have backup, I don't think I would tell it because no one would probably believe me.
Wow.
But she was right there with me, saw the whole thing, and that all happened that all happened in that little stretch,
Hmm.
all at the same time.
Wow. I mean, this must have blown your mind, at the time when all
Mine
this
is
stuff is
blown.
happening.
Yeah, it's just blown. I mean, you can't top it. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't top it.
So what do you think that craft was? I know that's difficult as well because we don't have the answers to this stuff, but if you had to kind of guess or, what do you
I,
think it
in
was?
my opinion, maybe it had something to do with Natari. in my opinion, maybe because the helicopter was here, and then she was here, and we're no longer trading up there. I mean, maybe that's why they left her up there. I think we're gonna get some answers. We're doing another little documentary on the Cells place, the Texas farmhouse. You familiar with that? You ever hear
Hmm.
about that place? Well, I have the two original investigators that were out with Mike and Sandy. And I was actually talking to Sandy, God rest her soul. She just passed away from lung cancer last year. And I was talking to her about it and getting her back talking about it because she hadn't talked about it in years.
Hmm.
And I vetted them, all three of them. And I didn't tell all three of them that I was talking to each one. And I asked them the same question. And you know what? They all answered it the same way, flawlessly, not
Hmm.
even a hiccup. And then I knew right then and there was they were telling the truth. So we're going to learn a lot from them too. But on the UFO thing, they used to call it the sometime place.
Hmm.
Where if Sandy would write, they would write broken English. There was one of them that could write broken English, supposedly. And she asked him, "Where do you guys go? Where do you go for weeks when you disappear?" And they put the sometime place and drew like a pie, but they took it as a bridge. But I don't know if it's all linked, then there's a good chance that was here for Natari. I don't know. I don't know. But the chopper, my friend is in the BFRO. He's like way up in the BFRO. And he was an airplane mechanic. And I didn't know this, but he says you can look up flights. Even governments has to do a registered flight. Anybody that's up in the air has to be registered, and
Hmm.
we couldn't find it. There was no helicopter in this area, and anywhere we could find. So whatever he says, whatever that was, wasn't meant to be seen.
Man, I mean, this stuff is wild, and the more the
They
more,
witnessed.
yeah,
Yeah,
the more I'm learning. Yeah, as you said before, like nothing surprises me anymore now with the paranormal because it is wild, man. But there's a lot more going on around us that we can't always see. That is for sure,
I'll tell you
man.
another story real quick. I'll tell you that when I started looking into the cells, MK Davis did a lot of investigating into the cells. So he sent me a lot of files. My whole hard drive got wiped.
Whoa,
Lost everything. Lost stuff that I had for years, gone.
what videos and things
Don't
like
know
that?
how. I have videos, everything gone. Don't know how it
Man.
happened. Don't know where it went. Just gone.
Oh man.
Yep. Had to start all over. My computer is all fresh. Nothing on it anymore.
And you think that's possibly government agencies or who
I don't.
knows?
I don't know. I don't know. But I
It's
still
so interesting.
meditate. I still meditate at night. I still I pray to the my higher power, and I still do all that stuff. It hasn't changed me as a person. I mean, I just have experienced the weird. I mean,
Hmm.
I go to work every day. I work solid 40 hours a week. I'm a grandfather first. So I always tell everybody, no matter what happens, your family first. Always
Hmm.
put your family first. Never put them second because that's where you run into trouble.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I agree.
Should always be on
Absolutely.
the back burner. This is, this is fun. This is, your hobby. This is what you do. And
Hmm.
but I guess I've experienced more than most folks do. So I don't know
Hmm.
if that's a curse or a blessing, but I have seen
A bit of both.
a bit of both. But
Man.
I'm heading out to Alabama this year. I gotta go. I gotta go see. I gotta go, see what else is going to happen. So
Yeah, man.
we're going to three habituation areas in Alabama, deep in the woods this year. So I'm excited. A couple weeks for that.
You mentioned, I know we're coming to the end of our. So this has been wild, but I'd love to get you back on, man. But you mentioned your grandchildren were seeing like ape-like figures in your house. Do you think that's the Sasquatch as well?
So now that's what I think it was. That's what personally I think it was. But the scratches were something to worry about. So
Yeah.
Al Santoriga, he's my friend.
Hmm.
I
Awesome,
called
dude.
I was at his birthday party and up in New York, and I showed him the scratches and told him what was going on. He's like, "Dude, you got to have a priest come to your house." He says, "No, no, no, that's not right. That doesn't happen. You shouldn't have scratches, and your baby shouldn't be seen. That's dangerous for them." I'm like, "Okay." He goes, "Here, you call these people, and they'll come to your house and they'll bless it." And they came and they blessed it, and my wife comes down. She goes, "You don't," and you know what? She goes, "This might sound weird, and that seems to be a word around here, but the house feels lighter." She goes, "It feels like there's something off my shoulders after they left because they buried stuff in the yard. They did all this stuff. They did the full blessing. They saged everything, smudged everything, full Saint Michael, everything." And I said, "Yeah." As I'm sitting down in my office and I call Al on the phone and I'm talking to Al. I say, "Hey, man, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. I hope everything, this is the end. And I hope the kids are going to be all right and, no more scratches." And all of a sudden, my cat comes in and it climbs up on my lap. Well, it doesn't seem strange to you guys right now, but my cat never would come in my office, ever would ever come in my office. And I said, "Al, my cat just came in my office and hopped up on my lap." And I told him, I said, he would never come in here ever. He would sit at that door and meow, 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 and would never come in. And no more monsters. The kids never saw monsters again.
Interesting, man. Because
So
animals pick up on
that's
this
when I
stuff as
thought that,
well.
yeah, that's when I found the paranormal side of it was real too.
Yeah. It's so interesting, and the connection between the Sasquatch and the paranormal. The more, as you mentioned earlier, like there is a bit of conflict in the Bigfoot world with, are these things just a flesh and blood living creature, and the other side, are these things more of a supernatural element to them? As I said before, I'm sort of somewhere in the middle. I don't know. I'm just like everyone, just trying to learn and learn more. But recently, especially recently, the more I look into this stuff, the more I feel like there's got to be some kind of, as you're saying, a supernatural. There's something going on here, man. And it would kind of make sense why you can't catch up with these things. Why we can't get that 100% proof. I know we've got the Patterson Gimlin film, and there is other great films out there that seem to have captured these creatures. It is very hard still to nail down and prove it. And it would make sense that that's why we can't, because there is something going on with these creatures that we just can't explain yet. Or, maybe we'll never be able to explain, but it is wild, man. So interesting.
I think it has to do with babies. I think the only reason I think they've caught Bigfoot on film is because of babies. Paul Freeman, there, the babies.
Hmm.
Now they found the baby, that one going up and picking up the baby and walking away. Caught that on tape. Patty's actually obviously lactating. She's obviously has breasts. There's probably a child nearby.
Hmm.
Trying to lead them away from. So she stays seen. You guys all know Barb Shoop. You know who Barb Shoop is,
Hmm.
and she's the one that caught the Predator Bigfoot on film. And they just had the special effects guy or the director from Predator look at the film on Flash of Beauty, and they did. If you guys never have you seen that Paranormal Bigfoot yet, Flash of Beauty? If you've never seen that, you should really watch it because it's a great, great show.
Hmm.
And Barb's in it, and they look at that clip and they do a great job of. She catches the predator effect. She catches the shimmer.
Hmm.
She sees a little black Bigfoot, but what she catches on camera is a mirror, something looking at her that's all mirror looking, and just
Hmm.
notice it if you didn't see it. And they had the director or the special effects or one of them look at it, and he says there's no way with that camera that she would have been able to pull off any kind of special effects. What she caught was 100% real. And then they showed the guy at Skinwalker Ranch in the movie in the show, the lead scientist there. I forget his name off the top of my head, but he looks at it, he goes, "Yeah, there's no way that's fake. There's no
Hmm.
way to fake it." So these things are that's what they do. They vibrating? Are they vibrating at that frequency to stay hidden? Um, I think that's the key. I think if we stay on the frequency thing, I think just like Tesla says, um, I think we will be able to get some answers.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's so interesting, man. What do you think? Difficult question. What do you think a Sasquatch is? If you had to say what you think it is now. I know your opinion changes like most of us, but what do you think these creatures are?
I think it's I think it's an interdimensional. I think it's an alien type of a thing. I think it's an interdimensional alien type. I'm not saying it's a gray or or a reptilian. I'm not saying it's like that kind of an alien. I just think it's something that can come and go and knows how to use. the different that space, knows how to come, and who knows, maybe they don't know how to use it. Maybe they walk through it and they're all of a sudden they're here and they have to stay here till they can find their way back home. That could be also too, because you find the one footprint. So what if they come through that hole, they take that one footprint, and then they go into the next room, to get back home. That's how they get, and it's just here. You don't know. I mean, well, look, you can't. I had Nicole. I don't remember how to pronounce her name. Shivatoni.
Chivatoni, yeah, yeah.
Shiva-
Alienate UK, yeah.
I had her on my show the other night, and
He's awesome.
we were talking about residual hauntings. So what if it's Neanderthal that every 20 years comes through a certain area and leaves a footprint, and that's what it does? One footprint in the middle of a field, and then it goes. What
Hmm.
if that's what's leaving the one footprint? We don't know. And we don't know what's throwing the stones. I know now spirits throw stones. So if you're not seeing what's throwing stones, how can you assume it's a Sasquatch? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So
Absolutely, man.
it's a crazy, crazy thing, and there's so much to learn, and just got to stay safe. Yeah,
Hmm.
I protect myself. St. Michael's with me all the time. Holy water's with me all the time now. I don't mess around with any of that stuff anymore.
Hmm. Absolutely, man. Chris, you've blown my mind tonight, brother. Thank you so much. I'd love to get you back on and talk more. I feel like we could talk a lot more.
Oh yeah, no, I
Um,
got more. I got more for you. Yeah.
yeah, let's do it, man. But I'm excited to learn more and see and we're constantly learning in this paranormal world. And I don't know if we're ever going to get the answers, but we're having fun trying. And yeah, thank you for sharing your experiences tonight.
Yeah, well, thank you, Tommy, for having me. It was a lot of fun. I love talking about it. So, like I said, if anybody has a recording of that hummingbird, get a hold of Tommy, or he can get a hold of me, and we'd love to log it, because we're onto something there. That's a discovery. In my book, and I can write that. That's a discovery that we've made about the Bigfoot. I think that they use that 40 hertz hum. Don't know
Interesting.
what for. We don't know if they're happy about it or what they're doing, but it's a thing, and it's a discovery, and it's probably the one of the biggest discoveries in the last 2 decades. What else has been really found out about them? And
Hmm.
you put the pieces together, they're using it for something.
Hmm. Absolutely, man. Interesting stuff, brother. Can you tell the listeners where they can find you and your awesome shows?
Yeah, you can find me on the Untold Radio Network. That's Doug Hychek's channel of Monster Quest on Real American Monsters. That's the name of my podcast. Facebook is Real American Monsters too. It's a private group. If you want to be a member, come on over and just say that Tommy sent you, and we'll let you in. Um, Andy DeCo's, he's in there, and Nicole's
Oh,
in
we
there.
love Andy
Yep,
and Nicole.
we'll get Tommy in there next, and so come on over there. It's a private group. There's no drama there. Drama free. If drama starts, you're bye bye. I don't do drama anymore.
Hmm.
It's just not worth it. It's a waste of time. I'll just walk away from it. On YouTube, it's Real American Monsters is my private channel. I haven't done any videos, but we're getting ready to start back up. I'm going to start a new mini doc series called Investigations on there, and I'm going to just get regular folks like you and me telling their story, and then I'm going to edit them out and just put their interaction, no questions, no nothing, just let them tell their story, and then that's it, and then put that up. And we are working on a thing called what's it called? Untold Investigations, and we're going to start doing documentaries for the Untold Radio Network channel. And we're doing one called The Winstead Wild Man right now. And we're actually filming this coming weekend. Will be the last time we're filming, and then we're going to start putting it together. So hopefully, knock on wood, it's out by the first of the year.
Awesome.
And
Awesome stuff, man. Exciting times ahead. And I'm looking forward to talking more, brother. So thank you so much.
yeah, I'm looking forward to having you on my show and talking about
Oh,
what you got going on.
I can't wait. I've had some weird stuff too, man. I'm looking forward to talking about it. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, share it where you can. That is a great way to support the show. And we'll be back very soon for more freaky conversations. In the meantime, stay safe and keep it freaky. Bye for now. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.